Auzubillahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. This is Tariq Amin, lecturer, Department of English, Cast. Our today's topic is position of adverbs, and this is the 10th lecture of the course Functional English. The course code is ENG 101. The discussion agenda of today's class is as under. First, we will discuss position of adverbs and three positions. After that, we will cover the different types of adverbs that can be used in any of the three positions. And at the end of the lecture, we will cover the position of adverbs of manner, adverbs of place, and adverbs of time in a single sentence. Now, there are three different positions where adverbs can be used. The first position for adverbs is the front of a sentence or a clause. They can be used at the beginning of a sentence. In other words, they can be used at the front of sentences. For example, look at the first example. And the first example, gradually, is an adverb and it is used at the beginning of the sentence. And the second example, sometimes I play cricket with my friend. Sometimes is an adverb and it is used at the beginning of the sentence. So adverbs can be used at the beginning of sentences. The second position for adverbs in sentences or clauses is the middle of a sentence. For example, they always speak English. We are almost ready. I have never said that. In all these three examples, always, almost, never are adverbs and they are used in the middle of the sentences. So this is the middle of the sentence is the second position for adverbs where we can use adverbs. Now there are some points that should be kept in mind when you use an adverb in the middle of a sentence. The first note is, or the first point is, with man verbs, the adverbs come before the verb. For example, they always speak English. In this example, speak is the main verb and always is an adverb. It has come before the man verb. Whenever you use an adverb with a man verb, so adverb is always used before the man verb. And the second point is, when you use an adverb with be form of the verb, it always comes after the verb. For example, we are almost ready. Almost is an adverb and or is the be form of the verb, and we can see that the adverb almost is used after the be form of the verb, that is or. The third point is, with auxiliaries and modals, it is placed after the auxiliary or after the modal verb. In other words, it is used between the auxiliary verb or modal verb and the main verb. For example, I've never said that. Said is the main verb, I have is auxiliary verb, and never is an adverb. And we can see that the adverb has been used between the auxiliary verb and the main verb. And the second example is, she will probably join us. Will is a modal verb, or we can say that it is a modal, and it is and just after it the adverb probably has been used, and join is the main verb and probably comes before in between the auxiliary verb, the in between the modal verb and the main verb. The third position for adverbs in a sentence or in a clause is at the end of the sentence. In other words, we can say that adverbs can be used at the end of sentences as well. Let's have a look at these examples. He spoke about his plans at the meeting. We can see the adverb phrase, it is used at the end of the sentence. The second example is, she has been attending the English class regularly. In this example too, we can see that the adverb regularly has been used at the end of the sentence. So these were the three different positions where adverbs can be used. Now, there are some adverbs that can be used in any of the three positions. It means that they can be used at the beginning of a sentence, they can be used in the middle of a sentence, and they can be used at the end of a sentence. They can come in any of the three positions. The first such type of adverbs is adverbs of manner. For example, in this chapter, we briefly examine the latest development in linguistics. In this example, the adverb briefly is an adverb of manner, and it is used in the middle of the sentence. The second example is briefly. I think we should join this project. In this example, the adverb of manner, that is briefly, is used at the beginning of the sentence. And the last example, he explained the situation briefly. Briefly is once again adverb of manner, and it is used at the end of the sentence. So adverbs of manner can come in any of the three positions. They can be used in the middle of the sentence, they can be used at the beginning of the sentence, and they can be used at the end of sentences. Now, the second type of such adverb that can be used in any of the three positions is adverbs of time. For example, the situation suddenly changed. The situation changed suddenly. Suddenly, the situation changed. We see that the adverb of time suddenly is used in all the three positions. In the first sentence, it is used in the middle of the sentence. In the second example, it is used at the end of the sentence. And in the third example, it is used at the beginning of the sentence. So, adverbs of time can also be used in any of the three positions. The third type of such adverbs is adverb of probability. For example, this is obviously a mistake. This is a mistake. Obviously, this is a mistake. In all the three examples, obviously, in all the three example, obviously is an adverb. And in the first example, it is used in the middle of the sentence. In the second example, it is used at the end of the sentence. And in the third example, it is used at the beginning of the sentence. Adverb of aspect. Adverb of aspect can also be used in any of the three positions. They can be used at the front of the sentence, and they can be used in the middle of sentences, and they can be used at the end of sentences as well. In the first example, technically, this is no problem. Technically is an adverb. In the second example, this is no problem. Technically is an adverb of aspect. This is technically no problem. In the third example too, technically is an adverb of aspect. It is used in the middle of the sentence. So adverbs of aspect can also be used in any of the three positions. We can use them at the beginning of sentences, we can use them in the middle of sentences, and we can use them at the end of sentences as well. Now let's discuss position of adverbs of manner, place, and time in one sentence. If you have a sentence where you have all these three types of adverbs, that are adverbs of manner, adverbs of place, and adverb of time in just a single sentence, so what should be their position in a single sentence? Now, the normal position of the adverbs, normal position of the adverb is he worked very hard last semester. In this first example, we have two adverbs, that is adverb of manner and adverb of time. Whenever you have a sentence where you have these two types of adverb, adverb of manner and adverb of time, always post adverb of manner first, and after that put adverb of time. And very hard is an adverb of manner, and last semester is the adverb of time, and the adverb of time is used after the adverb of manner. The second example is I didn't participate in that conference last year. In this example, we have two adverbs. The first one is adverb of place or adverbial of phrase, adverbial of place, and the second adverb is adverb of time. Adverb of place is always used before the adverb of time in a single sentence. When you have a sentence where you have both these adverb of place and adverb of time, so use adverb of place first and after that put adverb of time. And this third example, that is, he explained that problem thoroughly at the seminar last week. In this example, we have all the three types of adverb, that is adverb of manner, adverb of place, and adverb of time. When you have a sentence where you have these three types of adverb, always use adverb of manner first, after that put adverb of place, and at the end put adverb of time. Now, the position of these adverbs can be changed in order to emphasize or draw attention to one verb, one adverb. When you want to emphasize or you want to draw attention to a single adverb, or you want to focus on that very adverb, that adverb is used at the beginning of sentence. For example, last year I didn't participate in that conference. If we look at the previous slide, we can see that the second example. Look at the second example. I didn't participate in that conference last year. In this slide, we can see that the adverb of time, that is last year, is used at the end of the sentence. But in this example, we can see that the adverb of time, last year, is used at the beginning of the sentence. Actually, the writer want to focus or want to emphasize the adverb of time. That is why he is used at the beginning of the sentence. So we can change the position of adverbs when we want to emphasize or when we want to draw attention to just one adverb. Here the focus of the writer is upon the last year. He wants to say that it was the last year in which I couldn't participate in that conference. Now, avoid putting the longest adverb in the middle of a sentence. When you have an adverb or adverb phrase in a clause or in a sentence, try to use it at the end of the sentence, because when you use it in the middle of the sentence, it creates confusion. For example, I lived quite happily for 1 year in one of the remotest places in the world. If we use this adverb in the middle of the sentence, it would confuse the reader. Like if we say that I lived in one of the remotest places in the world quite happily for 1 year, it creates sort of confusion and it disturbs the readers. Now, avoid placing too many adverbs in the end position. Yes, when you have different adverbs in a single sentence, don't try to use it at the end position, because it also confuses the readers. For example, in the mountains, it is dangerous to drive quickly in winter. If we use For example, if we use this adverb of place at the end of the sentence, it would look a bit odd, like it is dangerous to drive quickly in the mountains in winter. So it confuses the reader. So try to avoid using too many adverbs in the end position of the sentences. Now, position of adverb. When an adverb modifies an adjective or another adverb, the adverb usually comes before it. In the definition of adverb, we had said that an adverb is a word that modifies a verb, an adjective, or another adverb. So an adverb can modify another adverb, and it can also modify an adjective. When an adverb modifies an adjective or another adverb, the adverb usually comes before it. For example, the book is very interesting. In this example, interesting is an adjective and very is an adverb. In this example, the adverb very is modifying the adjective interesting. Whenever an adverb modifies an adjective, the adverb is used just before it. And the second example, he speaks quite well. Well is an adverb and quite is another adverb. It is modifying the adverb well. In this example too, we can see that the adverb that is modifying another adverb is used just before it. So whenever you use an adverb that modifies another adverb or that modifies an adjective, always use it just before the adjective or just before the adverb that it modifies. The adverb only should be placed immediately before the word it modifies. For example, I worked only 3 hours. He has slept only 3 hours. In these examples, only is the adjective. And the first example, only is modifying 3 hours. In the second example, it is also modifying 3 hours. Whenever you use only as an adverb in a sentence, always used before the word that it modifies. The adverb enough is always placed after the word which it modifies. For example, he spoke loud enough to be heard. In this example, loud is modified by the adverb enough. So whenever you use enough in a sentence, enough is an adverb in a sentence. Always put it after the word that it modifies. In this example, enough is modifying the word loud. It is put just after the word that it modifies. Thank you very much for listening to the lecture. In case you have any question, you may ask it in the comment section. Thank you.